Alright, last month CoroCoro promised this. They promised that starting from the issue that comes out in April, that every month there's gonna be Sun and Moon coverage. Something Sun and Moon related. In anticipation of that, I posted this on April 8th. A good CoroCoro would be some sort of Sun and Moon silhouette, and a bad CoroCoro would be like Magearna's typing revealed. And what do you know? Magearna's typing is revealed. What? Oh my god, it's a freaking Believe in the PEEKO dude. Follow. Okay, so let me walk you through this month's CoroCoro leaks, which is supposed to come out on the 15th, but if you don't know, CoroCoro usually leaks like 3 to 4 days earlier. It's leaked as early as 8 days earlier. I think around the month that Auras was announced, it leaked like a full week early, so you never know, but typically today, around the time, the 12th of a month, is when you typically get CoroCoro leaks, but this is the main one this month. It starts off with showing us the box arts, but it's covered by a shine that says that we're not allowed to see the new Pokemon yet. That's literally what they said. So they're covering up the box art images of Pokemon Sun and Moon. You can tell that's the Sun logo right there, just before the shine covers it, and the Moon logo would be right there. Now that's weird because they're blocking the box art from this. Like, take that in. When Black 2 and White 2 was announced, they just threw Black Kyurem and White Kyurem in our face as the announcement. They didn't try to hype it up or anything. But for this, they're not even showing us the box art. It's almost kind of fishy as to the legendaries being something we know or something that might give something away. It could relate to the theory video I made where in the beginning I made it sound like Zygarde could be the Sun legendary, and then I shifted over to it actually being the Earth legendary, the Sun, Moon, and Earth legend. And I don't think one of these two will be Zygarde. I'm actually almost certain. Just writing that theory video convinced me that Zygarde can't be the Sun or Moon legend. It has to be the Earth or just the third legend. So it's just cool to see that they're covering it up and saying that we're not allowed to see the new Pokemon until next month. And they do promise that there's going to be crazy coverage next month. And by that, I mean an important reveal next month. It could be the box arts that reveal that these are the legendaries that we've seen. One thing that comes to mind is the idea that Sun and Moon could be about Lugia and Ho-Oh. It's an old thought, but imagine a reason for having to have to block out the box arts. If it was a Pokemon we've seen before, it makes sense to block it out, but at the same time, if it's a new Pokemon, you want to block it out because they don't want to show us the Pokemon, so it can work both ways, and this does say a lot though. In fact, going back to the thought of Lugia and Ho-Oh, in Pokemon Sun, the little crystal is silver, and in Pokemon Moon, the little crystal is gold. It'd be cool if it's using those crystals that Lugia and Ho-Oh can go primal or something like that. I have no idea what they could be directing the plot in. It could be Gen 7 with new legendaries. It could be a revamp of old legends, because the main thing that I know Game Freak's trying to do is just throw curveballs for like max enjoyment. At least I'm hoping max enjoyment. But that's all this scan says. It's so aggravating that they covered up the artwork like this, and I don't think there'd be any more stuff on the other page. We see a bit of the other page, but I don't think there's gonna be like more things. Yes, this isn't all the CoroCoro leaks, and there could be more, but I don't think there's more over here. And moving on, the second thing that CoroCoro leaked is indeed Magearna's typing. It is a Steel Fairy type, which just confirms the direction we're going in. We've been thinking that Diancie is related to Magearna, and they've never actually specifically said that Magearna is related to Diancie. I made a theory video saying that Magearna shares Diancie's abilities and all that, and it makes sense. Everything makes sense in that video aside from the fact that AZ's not the one who made Magearna, but it's pretty much still the same theory, just you replace AZ with someone else. But the idea of that theory video was to show that Magearna is a modified Diancie for the sake of being a capturing or Pokeball-like device, and we don't know what Soul Heart is. That's what Magearna's real ability is under all that stuff, but I feel like it's related to something about like capturing Pokemon, because it is a Pokeball Pokemon. In the trailer for the Volcanion movie, it shows it curled up as a Pokeball, and the fact that it's a Steel Fairy type really makes it resemble Diancie that much more. We've got the freaking height, 1 meter, that's how tall Diancie is roughly, and way heavier because it's made of steel, but it just seems to resemble Diancie so much. And what Soul Heart is will probably play a role in Pokemon Sun and Moon. People don't really notice that Magearna has been confirmed to have a typing, which means that it's not this movie exclusive Pokemon that a few people in the corner of the internet were thinking. It's an actual Gen 7 Pokemon. So the two Gen 7 Pokemon we know are 1, the freaking Hummingbird, and 2, Magearna, which would probably be at the end of the Gen 7 Pokedex. But it's cool to see that new Pokemon are being shown. Wait a minute, you said we couldn't see new Pokemon. There's a new Pokemon right here. Magearna almost seems like the passage between Gen 6 and Gen 7, connecting the story of Volcanion and all that to the new story. And I feel like this movie, while there's stuff related to crystals and forced megas and all that, will have stuff that is related to Sun and Moon and things that will be in Sun and Moon. Like these crystals, who knows? The idea that you can only Mega Evolve one Pokemon makes sense. It balances out the game. But when you introduce something like this, imagine if there's like a boss in Sun and Moon, which just exploits Pokemon, forces them to Mega Evolve, and like each time you verse them, they have a new set of Pokemon, a new set of like 3-4 Megas, because they just go through Pokemon, they don't care. It almost relates to Team Flare. In Team Flare, they don't really care about their Pokemon. So imagine if Team Flare comes back and the admins, or maybe just Lysandre, has the ability to just have an army of Mega Pokemon. You never know. The fact that Magearna is an actual Gen 7 Pokemon, and this staff exists, both made by something called Mystery Science. If you don't know what that, you may want to check out some of my older coverage videos, but we learned that this staff is made by Mystery Science. Magearna Soul Heart is made by Mystery Science, by that guy 500 years ago. So these things are existent. Magearna exists in Gen 7. This staff could totally exist, completely plausible. Hey, look at that, you've got all these Pokemon here. That's the third scan. The third scan is just 720 Pokemon all here. I feel like you could look carefully in here and you just see like a random Gen 7 Pokemon, though. Kind of weird. Is that a that's a Larvitar? Jeez, Larvitar, you're tiny. And you've got Lugia and Ho-Oh ear. I really thought it would be like more distinct. What is that? Wailord? That's huge. But that is CoroCoro this month. Remember that they teased that there's going to be an important reveal next month, which could mean so many things at this point. Even if they just reveal the box arts or the silhouettes of the legendaries, so many things arise from that. If they want to reveal the starters, you know what? Starters make perfect sense for next month. It's, you know, this has happened before where the April edition is more of a passageway teaser. Let me show you an example. In April 2013, which was X and Y's time, they teased us a random Pokemon with barely any context, which we theorized was Mewtwo. Then in the May edition, they showed us a bunch of new Pokemon like Helioptile, Pancham, and then in the June edition, they revealed that the Pokemon was actually Mega Mewtwo Y, and they showed us that there's a new thing called Mega Evolution. They did this again in Oraz, a good 6 months after X and Y's release, as it was slowly starting to get a bit boring. They decided to tell us some more about a new movie that Diancie's in, and then in May, they just subtly announced Oraz. Plainly there, for a full month we didn't know anything, and then in June, they showed us a ton of new Megas. Swampert, Sceptile, Diancie. June is the real edition that they reveal stuff in, and it's gonna happen again with Sun and Moon. We already got the teaser for April. May is gonna be a good month for Pokemon Sun and Moon if it follows this pattern, and in fact, if it does follow this pattern, June is gonna be an even better month. That's probably when we're gonna see the legendaries. I feel like in May's edition, we're gonna get the starters or the silhouettes of the starters, and in the June edition, we're gonna get like the box arts and then a lot of lore alongside it. It's good to point these things out because people don't really notice that CoroCoro has cool patterns, and Pokemon also has cool patterns, like reoccurring patterns in the way they announce and reveal things. So this is really cool. This may have been the highlight of this month, but they did just promise Sun and Moon news coverage starting from this month. Actually, that sort of guarantees that every month we'll have something Sun and Moon related. Like, we got Magearna's typing, we got a teaser saying that there's gonna be a ton of new Pokemon that we can't see yet. They specifically shined out the box arts, all of this stuff. It's gonna be cool. They also announced something called Pokemon Ga-Ole, which is thought to be like the sequel or the successor for Pokemon Shredder and all that, which if you don't know, is just a simple game like this. And it does talk about Pokemon and stuff. Like, we saw Perfect Zygarde in Shredder before we saw it anywhere else, so it's kind of cool. It's called Pokemon Shredder Z, and we saw Perfect Zygarde before anywhere else there. So this could in the future tell us stuff, but it's just cool to have a game like this announced. Like, it actually looks pretty good, and if it works in conjunction with Sun and Moon, we'll probably have stuff with Zygarde and the Sun and Moon legend, and we'll probably have Gen 7 Pokemon, because Shredder is kind of outdated with Gen 7 coming out. So that is all that was revealed in this month's CoroCoro. So just remember those two things. One, the pattern that CoroCoro and just Pokemon in general reveals things, and 2, the fact that they said there's gonna be an important reveal next month. So that is all time for this. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on Pokemon Sun and Moon news and theories and all of the fun stuff. And also click the first link in the description. There's only 5 days left until this one-time print PEEKO design goes away forever. It's printed on gold foil. You gotta get it. I can never sell this after this. So click the link in the description, grab that, and as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.